Well, hello again. Welcome to another episode of How to Do Atkins Low Carb. My name is, of course, Kent Altena, and I'm glad to see that you're watching another video. Today's episode is the holidays. They're fast approaching, and one of the questions we often see is, are you going to have a planned cheat through the holiday, or are you going to stay doing low carb through the holidays? My thoughts is I never really had a problem with the holidays as being any different than any other day. Sure, I might be in the kitchen more, but my eating still remained pretty much similar. One of the things that made my life a little bit easier on the holidays is I typically took the role of being cook for the holiday. I was the one that made the turkeys and hosted the family dinner, and therefore I could always guarantee that there was at least going to be something on the table that I could eat. If I wasn't going to be hosting the dinner, I could make sure that I brought enough food for not only myself to eat, as well as bring a number of items, so therefore not only do I look good in overdoing the bringing food to the potluck, or as the Dutch like to call it, Pot-Providence dinner, thereby ensuring that if I've had enough food, all the pies and the rolls and the desserts that might be also present at that dinner won't be as enticing or tempting as they might have been on an empty stomach. One thing, if you're not in control of the menu, one thing you might want to do beforehand is eat something. Eat before you go. Therefore, again, all those foods that might be considered not legal would be not as tempting as they were. Secondarily, you could also make sure your host knows about your dietary restrictions. If they had a vegan or a vegetarian coming to dinner, do you think they would at least have at least one or two sides that would be acceptable to them? Well, in my opinion, that my low carb lifestyle is just as relevant or important to myself as a vegan lifestyle might be to them. Therefore, a good host would want to accommodate that. With the holidays often comes the stress of meeting family, and with stress comes the temptation to overeat or to eat to comfort yourself. Why not take the proactive approach to put yourself in front of your family members that might not have seen you? You might be surprised as they remembered you at your former weight rather than what your current weight is, and might be more than overjoyed to share in your success or learn from your success and at how you're doing it. It might help, it might not. Not everyone loves to wear what's going on in their life on their sleeve, so to speak, but it worked for me. It made me that much more resilient to not eating the temptations that might be put before me. One other suggestion that someone else on the bulletin board had was to socialize more, to talk more during the meals and the dinner than you might normally have wanted to, that you might normally have in the past. If you're busy socializing, you can't be expected to eat, for it's rude to talk with one's mouth full. If you keep talking, you're going to have less time to be eating, and people might not notice that you didn't take a piece of Aunt Sally's apple pie. And finally, related to the socializing aspect, is keep yourself in family functions. Keep yourself circulating throughout the room, or have activities planned. If you're busy playing games with your niece and your nephew to get in touch with them, the busybody who wants to make sure that everyone has a piece of pie might not be as focused on you if you're busy doing something else. Be the one cleaning the dishes in the kitchen. With that, that concludes another episode of How to Do Atkins Low Carb. I hope your holidays are benefited by this video, and I encourage anybody with comments to make sure you post them. Thank you very much.